Welcome back to Good Day Orlando. In the Consumer Corner, the end of the year still seems very far off, but for those who have to take a withdrawal from their retirement account, it's never too early to start planning for it. So how do you avoid making mistakes while filing? Joining us this morning is financial analyst Bert. Aaron, good morning.
Good morning.
So let's start with this part one. It's a part one of a two-parter segment here. So we're going to follow 5 mistakes this morning, and we're going to hit the first 5. First off, multiple accounts subject to RMDs. What is an RMD?
An RMD is required minimum distribution. This is the government saying that you need to start taking money out of retirement accounts. So people save their entire life, put money in their 401k, their IRA. They never pay taxes on these dollars. So now the government says, hey, you need to start taking money out because we want our tax dollars.
Gotcha.
So at 70 and a half, you have to start taking what is called the required minimum distribution, or RMD in our lingo.
Okay.
So at which point you start withdrawing the funds, and then you have to pay taxes at your current tax rate. Yeah. So the required minimum distribution.
Okay. So
the mistakes that we see with required minimum distributions, if you have multiple accounts, you can pool all of your IRAs together, all of your company plans together, and you have to take from your IRAs 3.65% of the value on December 31st prior to the year you turn 70 and a half.
Okay.
Now try figuring that out on your own.
You lost me at 70, so.
Yeah, so this is why people make mistakes, because they don't understand the rules, they don't know what's involved. So from your IRAs, you can take one RMD to cover all of your IRAs.
Oh, okay.
So that's one mistake that people make. They think they have to take from each of the individual IRAs. Now, if you have a company plan, a 401k, a 403b, you actually have to take it from those company plans.
Okay.
From the individual plan, which is why we often recommend that people consolidate their plans into one IRA to make it easier to handle the required minimum distributions.
That seems like a smart move.
Because if you miss the required minimum distribution, the penalty is 50% of your RMD.
50%?
50% of your RMD. So if you don't take out what's required, you got to pay tax of 50%.
So let's say, just for example, you take out $5,000. You're paying $2,500?
If you forget to take out $5,000 and they catch you, then the tax is 50%.
That is huge.
Yes. However, the IRS is kind of lenient on it. So you can file what's called a Form 5329, which will allow you to ask for forgiveness from the IRS. And they will then, if you file your taxes at that time with the 5329, usually they let you off the hook.
Okay, let's talk about inherited IRAs.
Okay, an inherited IRA is when somebody passes away that owns an IRA, okay? And they name beneficiaries on the IRA, you then inherit it. So now it's an inherited IRA. You have to take a required minimum distribution from the inherited IRA no matter how old you are.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
so if you inherit an IRA, you must take a required minimum distribution every year from that account, and you can't combine it with your other IRAs.
And do the same rules apply where if you miss the deadline, they take out the 50%
penalty?
My goodness. Okay. Year of death.
Year of death. So in the year that you die, your beneficiaries need to take an IRA based off of your life expectancy if you're over 70 and a half. Now, if you haven't started taking your RMDs yet, then you don't have to. They can just inherit it, and then they have to start taking it based off of their life expectancies. That's what's called a stretch IRA.
Wow.
So that allows you to take out a little bit. So if you leave an IRA to someone who's younger, whether it be your children or whoever, they can then stretch out that IRA over their lifetime and take out a little bit every year so that it can continue to grow for you tax deferred.
Okay, and the last one on our list, first year.
Well, that ties into the 70 and a half December 31st value.
Gotcha.
So that first year when you turn 70 and a half, you actually have to take an RMD, but you can actually push it off until April 1st of the next year.
Oh my goodness.
However, then you have to take 2 RMDs that year.
Holy smokes.
So that's why we recommend that people work with a professional, because this can get confusing, and if you mess up, like I said, the penalties are pretty severe.
It's very costly, and especially when you're in your retirement years, you need every penny you've saved.
Exactly, and we see older people that make mistakes all the time because they don't understand these rules. So.
Great advice, Aaron. Where can people find you?
Find us on financialgroup.com, financialgroup.com.
Aaron, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
Stay with us. Coming up.